Oh, no. It's raw. Hey, come here. Who cooked these scallops? If I don't get a straight answer, I'm going to kick you out.
Go ahead, man. You sold them.
Wow.
He cooked them. I tried to push him on to sell them.
So you cooked them?
You told me to sell them, chef. I kept telling him no. You can look at the cameras in here.
Cameras?
Man, it really sucks to see a childhood favorite go from being just that to just dipping in quality. Think about a childhood favorite restaurant for a moment. For me, it was the Mexican restaurant Los Dos Amigos in Norman, Oklahoma. I have fond memories of going to said restaurant and eating a tortilla with queso on the inside for some reason. Because as a white boy from the US South, that's often what we did. Unfortunately, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the restaurant was forced to close down as a result of not being able to keep up. Why do I bring this up, you may ask? Well, I wanted to segue this into another childhood favorite of mine. Some of you may know it as the show where Gordon Ramsay called people fucking donkeys. Hell's Kitchen. I know what you're thinking. What was a dumbass 5-year-old doing watching Hell's Kitchen? Well, I didn't have cable when I was a kid, so I guess it came from the fact that I had nothing else to watch at 7 p.m. on a Thursday night. Hell's Kitchen was a show that mixed aspiring chefs and threw them into a survival of the fittest style competition. Initially from the UK, Hell's Kitchen was brought to the United States under a different format. The show was hosted by an, at the time, relatively unknown outside of the UK Gordon Ramsay, who had gained notoriety in the United States for some very tongue-in-cheek comments about contestants, including...
And if I hear you talk about a fucking camera one more time, I'll stick a GoPro up your ass so you can see how shit you are.
I just want more pumpkin, that's all I want.
Right, well, I'll get you more pumpkin. I'll ram it right up your fucking ass. Would you like it whole or diced?
Vegetable pancake.
My God.
It's a what? A seafood and vegetable pancake.
Pancake?
Yeah, it's a pancake.
What? That is a pancake?
It's a, yeah.
Does that look like a pancake? Oh, he's going for a piss. A pancake that pisses.
Premiering in 2005 and still going to this day, Hell's Kitchen currently airs on Fox, with reruns of older seasons being aired on stations like CMT. Initially, the show was extremely popular, with millions tuning in weekly to see what would happen to the chefs working at the makeshift restaurant. However, as the show dipped in quality, so did the viewership. An example being the comparison of the premiere episodes. The first episode of Season 5, which aired in 2009, pulled in almost 11 million people watching at any given moment. Compared that to the most recent season, Battle of the States, pulling in only 1.43 million viewers at any given moment. There are a multitude of factors for that, with one note being obviously people don't use cable television that much. However, I also want to note a dip in quality in the show. The first problems came in Season 16, with one of the most unlikable casts in the history of the show. While unlikable contestants aren't uncommon within reality shows such as this, with Hell's Kitchen noting some very unlikable casts, such as in Seasons 8 and 9, Season 16 upped the ante with one of the most unlikable casts in any reality show of all time, with the Blue Team being considered by many to be the worst team in Hell's Kitchen history. You had unlikable and untalented chefs such as Johnny and Matt, with the latter legit threatening to fight Chef Ramsay after his elimination at the final 9. You also had talented chefs like Polly and Andrew, who, while talented, had a major flaw that made them unlikable. Paulie had a Napoleon complex and would often sell his own teammates out, as seen with Coop's elimination, and Andrew literally cheated on his fiancée on national television. Seasons 17 and 18 were both returning players' seasons. Normally, that'd be a good sign of things to come, right? Wrong. Season 17, while better than most seasons I'm about to cover, had a problem with the finale. The final 3 of Michelle, Benjamin, and Nick were made to do a cooking challenge, with the lowest scorer of the 3 automatically eliminated, with that being Nick. This is often considered by fans of the show to be one of the most unfair eliminations of all time. Season 18 didn't have said challenge, but it suffered with a fairly unlikable cast, with notable legends coming back and being way more unlikable. A notable example of this is Kevin Cottle, who, while in Season 6 was one of the most liked cast members due to his never say die attitude, especially after injuring his ankle, came back in Season 18 with a way worse attitude that ultimately led him to being the third person eliminated. Talk about a fall from grace, am I right? After Season 18, the show went on a near 2-year hiatus. While Seasons 19 and 20 were filmed right before the COVID-19 pandemic, the show didn't air until early 2021. Season 19 saw the show move to Las Vegas, Nevada, aka the gambling capital of the world. And naturally, they made this season about gambling because, of course they did. Season 19 was also the last season I watched in full because I genuinely lost interest in the show. While I did catch some glimpses of seasons like Young Guns, American Dream, Head Chefs Only, and Battle of the States, I couldn't really watch more than 10 minutes of each because the show genuinely has gone down the drain. It feels saddening to see a show that I once liked just die like that. Another problem I have with modern Hell's Kitchen is the addition of unnecessary twists. Unlike Survivor, a show that thrives with twists, Hell's Kitchen is a show that does not need twists to make it work. A big problem twist is the Punishment Pass. In Rookies vs. Veterans and Beyond, the Punishment Pass was introduced as a way for someone to skirt by without any sort of consequence for losing a challenge. In later seasons, the Punishment Pass was changed to replace someone on the winning team, which, honestly, would just make you come off as an asshole even if you were presented as the hero. Hell's Kitchen as a whole was a show that never needed to have twists, as 90% of the show is skill-based, and unlike Survivor or Big Brother, where one needs to rely on a mix of skill and strategy in order to win, Hell's Kitchen does not have that mix, with it often being the most skilled chefs that end up going to the end and competing in the finale. Overall, Hell's Kitchen feels like your leftover Chinese food. Initially good to begin with, but was left to mold over once something new, i.e. the Masked Singer, in which case would be a pepperoni pizza, was introduced to the fridge. Like said Chinese food, it can be good at times when still fresh, but ultimately, it's gotten sad that the Masked Singer pushed it aside. I hope that Hell's Kitchen could try to thrive, given it's coming up on its 25th season, but given Fox's track record with game shows, I'm not too hopeful. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I'm Duality Dustman, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.